Hello and welcome to this episode of
Many Cats.
Real Feelings. There's many cats around. You can't see it, but there's one behind the camera.
There's also one in the garden.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see that one.
Tanny's up there somewhere.
Yeah. And why have all these cats come around today, Jim?
Because Tig is dead.
I'm dead, bitch. And it was the best thing ever, and I'm going to talk about why it was. So, I can't remember if I said this in previous episodes or not, that I've been kind of looking for a way out, an exit ramp.
I got your exit ramp right here, buddy.
And yeah, it was really, really good, and I fully recommend killing your character, but I'll get into that. Do
it now.
I was
all you gotta do is log into profounddecisions.com.
Go register character death.
My characters, retire character, make it bloody.
Yeah, but don't retire them. Kill them on the field. Let your friends have game out of it, if possible, or you just retire them. That's also fine. But so yeah, I had been looking for an exit ramp off the Tig Highway. The Tig Way, is that a thing? Is there something in there? The motor Tig.
I'll process this in the background while you talk.
Okay, thanks. Because after the Deadwood Night,
Did you say Tig Way already?
Yeah, that's the first thing I said. Motor Tig also doesn't really work. Yeah. That kind of makes me sound like a motorbike. A motor Tigel. But yeah, so I'd been looking for this off-ramp for a while, and it had kind of started rearing its head around E1 when the Descent of Tears came along. And, you know, we talked about that in previous videos, so I won't rehash that too much. But basically, I've been feeling that Tig has kind of stagnated since the Deadwood Night, because Tig as a character, I'd never really flesh out his personality and hopes and dreams. I was kind of focused on just doing things with him. And I think with the Deadwood Night, I had done the thing. Yeah. You know? I had achieved maximum velocity on the Tygo ban.
I tried that one in my head.
Yeah. I tried them live and they're not working. And I was like, okay, I've done it. I've completed it, mate. You know, Empire completed it.
Tigway.
The Tigway to hell.
There we go. That's it.
Okay, that'll do. Right. That'll do. But so yeah, I started kind of, being open to the idea. Didn't want to just retire him. I wanted it, to kind of happen somewhat naturally. Not naturally, but to feel somewhat natural, to be part of the
nothing narrative. Natural about it, me lord.
he was butchered, me lord.
Like a pig stuck him like a pig in the streets, we did, me lord. Squealing.
So I decided to send Tig on a pathway to vengeance, which kind of narrative fit in because I'd given Reggie the test of metal to destroy all the Druge, so there's already kind of those seeds, and I basically just kind of started playing it as if, everything had just been, vengeance had been fully consuming him and there was nothing more for him.
Reggie.
As we found out in the last video, my attempts at that were escalated and accelerated beyond my control thanks to interception of letters and things like this. So I was going into E3 knowing it was my last one. And yeah, it was pretty great. So I timed in at time in by myself, coming from a god. Because obviously I wasn't going to time in the camp. That would be weird. And I went around and did some secret meetings. I met with a Black Knight that definitely wasn't Dorian, who gave me a mysterious potion and told me that the Helen Queen wanted me to strike down Leonor. I thought that was pretty sus, but and I also wasn't really going to do it.
It was, Dylan.
It was.
That was pretty sus.
It was pretty sus. Tig, thankfully, kind of not that smart, so I was like, Tig will just go with this. That's fine. That's not like unrealistic. But despite being like consumed by vengeance, I didn't want Tig to be just like a
mustache twirling bad guy.
Yeah, like a comic book villain. I wanted him to have some depth, so like he was never going to like just instant.
Show up and whap Leonard.
This is it, you know. It's like he has too much respect and love for him, so it's not gone. That wasn't never going to happen. But I was like, but you know, so I'll do it just in case the Hen Queen is watching or whatever, and you know, fine, I'll drink your silly potion, which is basically one that wiped all my hero points.
Is that what that was?
Yeah. Which was sad.
Gas.
Yeah.
Gas.
But yeah, so then I went and I just basically hung around Navar for a while. And so I don't know who you are, and I'm sorry for this, but I was nearby someone who just started talking about how they had lost someone to the Druge, and I was like, you lost someone to the Druge? Have you considered vengeance? Basically. Didn't know who he was, just kind of pulled him into it. I was like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Why aren't you doing more? You know, commit to this, you know?
Fuck.
And was like, here, the destruction of the Druge is what Glade Warden's all about. Give them the Glade Warden seal, like a favor. So this poor person, if the Inquisitors ever come looking for you, you're probably fucked. Then I got to talk to Mouse and Oren, where I basically said some cryptic goodbyes and was like, look, I don't know if Glade Warden is going to be much loved after this event, but you know, thank you for being friends. Also gave them favors and stuff. I was basically just trying to be like as Dawnish about things and like giving like declarations and stuff to people who didn't know how down the dark path I had gone.
Mouse, you're getting inquisited.
Yeah, Oren, you're probably also going to get inquisited. And as that was happening, I saw Percival and Morgan like going by. I was like, oh, are these guys all out looking for me? This is fun. Do you want to talk about maybe as I was going around doing this and like vengeance politicking, Jim and the rest of them all had devious plans and machinations.
Yeah, specifically, I think there were a few of us. Sol Renee was brought to bear on the situation because we're heretic smashers.
Yeah.
So we were like, first off, Earl Carleone took us into a meeting, and even Molly, and she was just like, so we're all agreed we're killing Tig, right? And we were like, if you want him dead, he can be dead. And we started walking Anvil and looking for like the ideal place to kill you.
It's just so funny. Like,
and we had such a good plan. There's a road from like, kind of near, between the Imperial Scout tent and the Regio. It cuts down through Urizen. And it's like, all the tents are faced away from the path, and it's just empty. So the plan had been, in it, there's kind of side alley you can go into. We were going to bring you into that. And the plan had been, Earl Guinevere was going to like take Tig for a walk.
yeah.
And bring him into this alley, and then like 50 Black Knights were gonna jump in. But like we had it planned down to a T, where like Sol Renee were going to just be there to protect Earl Guinevere.
Yeah.
But like the case was, Flint was going to scout out the location, and when you reach that part of your walk, when you hit that street corner, if there was a Sol Renee lantern lit on the corner, it meant it was a go, and it was clear.
Yeah.
And then like we were on, like I was on the road, like counting. So I was doing it in like a 30-second and a minute swathes to see the footfall, the average footfall on this thing. Like, and then we went up by the back of the Crimson Reapers. There's a thing called Reaper's Row, I think. And it's like, again, just kind of a very out of the way thing. And we were there for like I think 30 seconds and one of the Reapers was out, and he's like, hey, you're not planning to kill anyone here. Because I promise, if you're trying to take this your own murder row, you'll be the first to bleed on it. And we were like, nope. And then nothing to do with anything, but then Joey and I 2v15 like a Navar squad for training, which was great. So yeah, the Fever Fall, I think your name is, or Bitter Fall, maybe. Anyway, well done. And then we were like, okay, we have our plan. Now it's reconnaissance time. So we were like Assassin's Creed following you everywhere you went. Like when you were in and around Dawn, like we were in the National Assembly watching you. And when you were in Wise Guys, we had paid 2 people to sit next to you and listen to everything you were saying. And then when you like, we were just everywhere you were, we were no more than 200 feet away in a crowd watching you.
That's so good. Yeah, so after I kind of walked around Navar, got my bits done there, I headed back to Dawn. First, I was just walking to the Glory Square, and then Zoran Orzel saw me.
Yeah, because we were like, what the fuck is going on there?
Yeah. He's just coming over for a chat because he saw me covered in blood. He's like, what's up with you? And I was like, just came here from Tarunin and stuff. And he's like, nasty business. And then he started talking about his hopes for the battle on Sunday. And I was kind of like, this is not the vibe I'm going for here, so I'm going to depart from this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, there's nothing. Obviously, Tyg and Zoran had like interacted a fair bit and had been on fights and stuff together, and so there's a good like mutual respect there between the 2 characters for sure. But there was no real kind of close tie, so I wasn't going to like.
No point in striking one up now.
Yeah, exactly.
Pre-mortem, like.
Yeah, exactly. But there was one with Lady Caitlin Cordraco, because she had spent time in Gladeholm in downtime learning sword forms with Tyg. And so I was like, cool, here's a little token of favor. You're a general now. Go do the thing, And then kind of after that, before that, while I was waiting to try and find her, I went to Wise Guys, and then Hadrian of all people was like, Tyg, what's up? Like, was like so happy and drove, and I was like, hello, Hadrian.
Hadrian was like the real fucking, what's the word for like, it's like a card phrase. Where it's like, oh, nobody expected or planned. Wild card.
Yeah.
Because like we were in the pub, we were in National Assembly watching out, and we were like, what the fuck is Hadrian doing? Because like he was like went and talked to you, and then looked really suspicious, and did like a full lap of the Glory Square, like looking at everyone, and we were like, is he running counterintelligence for Tyg? And then like. When we got back to camp in a little bit, he was like organizing a defense of you. And we were like, well, first off, Molly was with us at this point. And we were like, get your fucking yo in line. Like, is that him organizing guards for the person we're trying to kill? Guinevere?
Yeah, I had no idea what he was doing, which was very funny. And then, but yeah, you bought me a drink, and I was like, yeah, cool. I clearly didn't bring any money because I knew I was going to die, so I'm not bringing money and drink things with me. And I was like, and he's like, what you want? And I was like this. He's like, have you got a cup? No, get me one. He's like, okay, my lord. And like, went out of his way to be really hospitable to me.
That's probably what he was doing, walking around the Glory Square looking for a cup.
Possibly, I don't know.
Well, that dragonfly is huge.
And then I talked to someone who was clearly cursed. And came over and was like trying to give me testimonies and things. And I can't remember what the testimony is that they gave me, but I was like, I'm gonna die. I'll take a curse from a testimony person. Just fine. I don't care, or a testimony from a cursed person. I actually really wish I could remember what that was, but I forgot.
No, I can remember. It was the virtuous.
No, that's.
No, because they were very similar.
Oh yeah, they were.
Like the virtuous, or the
virtued killer, or honored killer, or something like that. Yeah. But And in the back of my head, I thought that maybe you had
I'm just gonna
sent.
triple check.
Yeah, I thought in my back of my head, oh, maybe the guys have sent this person, but like, Tig, not a champion of vigilance by any means, wouldn't think that. So I'm just going with this. But then eventually, anyway, the time had come. I was like, right,
Fucking cat.
I've talked to all my people. I'm gonna go to the camp now and see how this goes. So I get to the camp.
How did it go, Dylan?
Well, refer to the opening statements of this video, Jim. Went to the camp.
Shit. This video opens with that like mega dramatic Kurosawa edit.
Oh yeah,
doesn't
you're
it?
gonna start that video with this? Nice. Yeah. Refer to opening scene.
Heretic!
Is it going to say heretic in dripping blood?
No, it's just like stark white.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Like very impactful text that just says heretic, and then like a brass section starts playing. I really tried to make it as fucking Kurosawa. Like,
Oh, so good. But yeah, so I get there, and Guinevere's there, and you know the two of us are doing this very obvious. The other nose is lying, you know, like dance. And I was like, why didn't you deliver my letter and all this? And she was like, oh no, I got rid of it, you know, wasn't me, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay. And then she obviously was desperately trying to start enacting you guys' plan. But I think I came back too soon for you guys or something.
Yeah.
You guys weren't expecting me there.
it kicked off a little early. We weren't expecting you back, and then Leonard pulled the trigger on what he was going to do as well.
And honestly, I think personally think this was all the better for it. That it wasn't overly scripted.
Yeah.
Not scripted, planned. And so I was just there, chilling in the camp. A few people...
Chilling like a villain.
Like, I had a very frosty interaction with Percy on the way there as well. And then I was kind of just sitting around. And then... Milton. It's all Milton's fault, actually. The way it happened.
I don't know about this.
So basically, Milton arrived in the camp, and I was like, Milton, how are you? And he's like, I don't know if I want to be caught talking to you, my lord. And I was like, why is that? And he's like, oh, I've seen the letters you've been writing.
Yeah.
And then literally Molly or Gwen started coming out, and I was like, she's like, oh, I'm going to get something. It's like, oh, is it more lies? Because obviously she had just told me that she'd gotten rid of the letter, and now Milton's like, oh, I read it. I'm fully aware of what's there. I was like, oh, so you were lying to me then. And then from there, it all just started kicking off. And it just started like developing and evolving into like shouting matches and like arguments.
No. First off, Leonard marched in.
Well, no.
Oh, beforehand?
Yeah. It would.
Oh, when we came, you were just like quietly sitting on a bench.
Yeah, but I didn't think Leonard had. The arguments had already begun.
Yeah.
And then I heard Leonard.
Okay.
It was like a very much a.
It should be noted as well that at this point you had 2 armed guards from House Sebastian.
Yes, actually, I really want to talk about them.
Yeah.
So,
because they are crucial to the whole thing and really added so much to it.
Yes. So, at this point, kind of as I'd been sitting there, as part of the Bastion test of vigilance to be able to test into the house, usually the Bastion have a test where you either guard like the house coffers, the flag, the Earl, something like that. Something that needs to be guarded.
An empty tent.
That's something like very, very hard, and there's a lot of like interference with. So Decimus, the sadistic bastard, was like, your test is to guard Tig. Which, my God.
There's the heresy again.
Yeah. So it's like, so he was then like getting like girded up and like started, you know, then hovering around me and stuff. And I hears me be like, what the fuck's this guy doing, you know? And then, so he started trying to, like, all the way throughout this, he's there like trying to get in the way of me and everyone and like block people. Like, the more and more this went on, more and more people just started coming and arriving.
Like 30 or 40 people.
There's so many people at the end. But yeah, so this is all happening, and I've kind of begun this argument. And then there was just a great moment where I was sitting there and my back was to the entrance and I heard Leonard and I was like, oh, so finally you've come. And I was like, this is such a villain thing to say because I didn't even look at him. I just knew it was him.
No, that's it, because you were sitting there and I just, because we were flanking him, Sol Renee was flanking him, and I just saw you just go, put down your drink and start talking without turning around.
Yeah.
So it was so cinematic. Like.
Nice. And so yeah, then Leonard came and the two of us started like verbally going at it. And as we were kind of like speaking, as I said, more and more people just started kind of showing up. And like every time I turn around to say something to someone else, there'd be more people.
Yeah.
And every time I turned around, it was just, I was getting more and more surrounded. And I was like, this feels cool as fuck, you know? This is really cool. But I will say, to those of you watching this video that were in the crowd, I saw a lot of heads nodding at some of the points I was making.
That was a big point of concern for Imberic. He was like, fuck, he's making really good points. We've got to kill him now before there are more heretics.
Well, basically, I was leaning into as being as Dawnish as possible. And I was like, you know...
graceful pigeon I've ever seen in my life.
You know, Gwen and Leonard were both like, do you not love us? Where's the love in your... This isn't you and stuff like this. And I was like, you know, what is grief but love with nowhere to go and everything has been taken from me? My house has been taken from me, so I have love. I do not love, but... Because
I just love vengeance.
Basically, I was like, but the love of my house, the love that was fallen, is leading me down this. This is why I'm doing it. This is why I think it's the only proper way. This is why we should do it, because of this. And I saw a lot of people being like, oh yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. And then in my head, I was also like, wait, no, I need to also pull back a bit because I need to be killed here. This is the whole point. And then it kind of, nothing really escalated for a few minutes, and then Percival, like, clearly the mind of a DM was just like, something needs to kick into gear here.
Because, like, we had tried to ramp it up, but, like, people kept de-escalating with conversation. Where at one point, like, I think I'd said to you, like, my guy's incensed at you. Like, he's on a he's on a hairpin trigger. Like, just say something.
Yeah.
And you were like, and I'd manipulate you again. And I was like, fuck! But everybody put their arms in front of me. And I was like, ah.
Yeah. But you know what? Again, as you said, which was great because that built the tension. But it was getting to the stage where the tension was building and building, but nothing was happening. And it was almost at the point where I think it was too boring. Then it's like, okay, either something has to kick off here or nothing will. And Percival turned around and was basically like, that's not the Thai guy I knew, or something. And I was like, listen here, you little shit. You know? And then I screamed at him because on an OC level, me and Leonard checked in ahead of time.
Yeah.
And Leonard's player, Darius, was like, I'm not super comfortable with like having a big shouting match.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so we won't go there. We'll play this as the whole like disappointed in each other kind of a job. So I couldn't really go and like raise my voice at him because that was predetermined. That was like a safety tool in place, right? But I knew Percival would eat this up, and I was like, that's it. I'm going to unleash at him. So I did that. We had a big scream match, and I remember like 3 or 4 people had to like physically drag me back away from him.
Yeah.
All the while, this little Sebastian guard was like desperately trying to be in the middle of things.
Because like he was trying to keep back Sol Renee and Percival and Dorian.
Oh, he had his work cut out for him so much.
We were just like I remember being in his ear and I was being like, are you fully willing to die for this guy? And he was like, yeah.
Like, oh, what a terrible position to be in.
Yeah.
And so I saw this, and again, kind of leaning into, I want this to be a more of a nuanced take on a villain arc. I was like, okay, Tyke has no qualm with this kid from his point of view, you know? I don't want him to see... The only thing I care about killing is the Druge. It's all I cared about.
Yeah.
I don't want this guy to die.
This was magnificent.
And so I was like... I looked at everyone, I was like... Especially because like me and Darius, or me and Leonard were like real like aggro with each other at this point. And so I pulled my sword and I was like, Leonard, this isn't for you. And then turned to my guard and started hitting him to knock him down. So like, just get him out of the way. And then whatever happens, happens. And he's not in trouble then.
And it happened very quickly.
And then I got 3 hits off. And then all of a sudden,
5 of us just dove.
I just hear like, cleave, strike down, repel, us. And I was just like, I guess I'll die. Just on the ground. But specifically, I've been paralyzed. And so I couldn't really do anything. And then all I hear is from Flint, get the anvil, brother, or get it from you.
Brother, get the anvil!
And I look over, and my hand's placed in an anvil with Emberg, fury in his eyes, fucking smashing my hand with his hammer against it. And I was like, well, shit. And then I look up, and this is all, if it happened, this was like within 5 seconds.
Oh, if even 5
If even 5 seconds. Turn around, before I can even register that, like, oh, I should roleplay that this is really hurting, I look up and I see Dorian just out of nowhere at top of me. I was like, I love you, but in the name of the Empire, I execute. And I was just like, guess I'm dead. Just guess I'm fully dead. And my last words were like, sorry mate, nothing personal.
Actually,
effectively.
your last words were fine, which are great.
Okay, good.
Because we threw you on the ground
I'll
and you were
that.
like, fine.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but it was great.
It was. Everything that came after that as well was great. Like fucking Solar and I were there just doing our job. We had your hand, like it was fine. We got what we needed. And Leoric comes over to Flint and he's like, I hope you've got a fucking good priest. And Joey's like, I didn't kill anyone. Holding your hand.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Leonard,
yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Leoric.
Yeah, sorry. Too many Leonine names.
But yeah, so that is the story of how Tig died. Very quickly, with not a whole lot of ceremony in the back camps of Dawn. But honestly, as I said, I'm so happy with it. It was one of the best. That whole sequence, those 2.5 hours were probably my favorite 2.5 hours in the entire game that I've spent, you know? Maybe not, but it's up there for sure, like top 3.
Tig's story, like, which doesn't often happen in LARP, is a very good story.
Yeah,
like,
that's honestly, that's the main thing I'm
like,
proud of.
If I read that in a book, I'd be like, that was a good character.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Real big, like, Arthas energy, you know?
Yeah, and so, like, some behind the scenes for you all. This was like, because you say Arthas energy, like, that was originally the kind of idea that we were hoping this might go down. And we were hoping that it might go down like a big high fantasy thing where Ty becomes the next Deadwood Knight and there's like a skirmish to take him down either before he gets the powers or when he gets the powers or something like that, you know? And so I emailed PD, who, upon reflection, rightfully responded being like, hey, basically, if we do this for you, we have to do this for everyone, so we can't. Hello, plane.
It's the most graceful pigeon I've ever seen.
And then made a good point where it's like, there's something a lot more human and tragic and real about the story if Tig doesn't die as a big high fantasy monster villain and dies as a human who felt vengeance. And that's a lot more impactful. And I kind of took that and I was like, yeah, you know what, that's right. And like, me and you had been talking about before about potential ways for that would be a good character arc for Tig.
Yeah.
And so I really, really think that this arc was really, really good. Just in terms of like, there was enough in there in his past that I was able to kind of like weave in things that made it feel natural.
Yeah. Like there were good callbacks and stuff the whole way through.
Yeah. And so yeah, really, really happy. The Earl of Fools came up to me after time out on the Sunday and basically said, well done, you won LARP. That was a great story. I loved it. What a great like narrative conclusion and stuff. So I very much appreciated that. And yeah, it was good. And I'm very happy because this is kind of cheeky. Without naming names, there's been a few other characters and stuff that we've seen over our years in LARP, that things have happened, and the two of us from the outside, I hands up and say, I've been a bit like, oh, do you not think that would have been a more fulfilling or a natural end to a character
that
and stuff
they've
like that?
kind of come to a perfect conclusion to a story and rolled on by it to continue playing the character.
Yeah, which, you know what? Fair if you see more beyond your character. And as I kind of said at the start, I didn't see more beyond my character. So I was like, I want to be able to do this. But like, I don't know, I found it very, very kind of fulfilling from a narrative and a personal sense of being like, you know what? This character's run its course. I'm going to give him an end that's, fitting and fun.
I always say a story is only as good as its end.
Yeah.
And you don't nail, if you don't nail the ending, it kind of undermines the story.
100%. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how it was and how it ended. And then it's made a lot of game for everyone as well, So yeah, and then we're getting to play a ridiculous character.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will change, but I had a lot of fun with him.
That was very funny. Like, I love that, like, you'd never played the Yo game before.
Yeah.
So, like, us leaning into it, like, don't press on!
But, yeah,
I think
I've spoken a lot now.
that's a character to be introduced on another episode, I think.
Do you think?
I think so.
We're at 37 minutes in.
It's not a long one.
It's not a long one. We just do...
Well, I've got a little I can talk about what I was doing then, from the fallout of that, and some other fun things I'd like to mention.
Okay, you do that, and then will we do another episode on just Bernell, or we just kind of... I didn't do a whole lot with Bernell, so maybe I'll just talk
I think just
for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Bernell now then?
Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, because realistically, right, let me just check my notes. Like, I wrote things down that I did as Bernell, but like, honestly, by virtue of his character, not a lot was very, impactful. But yeah, I'm now playing a character called Bernell, or Bernie as he's being nicknamed, who is...
Almost immediately.
He is a pathetic little worm of a yo who's incredibly powerful at summer magic and nothing else. He's weaselly, but not in like you're a little weasel, aren't you? Like scheming and stuff. He's just like, you're a little weasel, aren't you?
It's more, not even weaselly. The connotations there are too sinister.
Yeah, true.
He's mouse-ish.
Yeah. I'm like a guinea pig.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's like a nothing man.
It was just the fact that Becca in the Brass Coast at a party was talking about Bernie for some reason to someone else.
Yeah.
And
oh fuck yeah. This is the most savage thing I've ever heard.
It was like something came up, and you'll forgive me, I'm paraphrasing this badly, but something came up and someone asked if Bernie was doing a test of metal effectively. And someone else was like, what's his test of metal going to be? Counting to 10? Reggie will be finished before he does that. Just unnecessarily savage.
I mean, Bernie had it coming.
Yeah, he didn't. Oh.
My favorite Bernie moment was, because the whole thing, you recall Super Philip. I'm playing that the effect that Super Philip, wielding Super Philip for 3 months has had on Emberic is that he's become a bit of a man whore, but specifically for duels. So like he's going around in this like flouncy white coat that I found, like lounging and like drinking from like, illustrious cups and shit. But one of the jokes is that Flint has been like, you stop your whoring ways, brother. And I'll be like, never. But that came up I think it was again in the brass coats, and it came up, and I think I mentioned, like, oh yeah, my partner or whatever, and then someone was like, oh yeah, my wife, and then Bernell was like, I wish I had a partner, and then no, I don't think it was even that. It wasn't. You wouldn't. Have
I would not even wish to.
Yeah.
That would be too lofty of a
No,
goal.
because somebody said, have you a partner, Bernell? And his reply was like, oh no, I'm undesirable. But it was said with like such just acceptance. Like, this is just the way of things. I'm undesirable.
And then from then on, it escalated a lot into just, let's face it, pure actual bullying from Flint and Beric to him, where we canonize that Bernell sleeps in a doghouse.
I think this is all soft canon.
Soft canon. It was said though. It was said that Bernell sleeps in a doghouse that is half as half as small for him. He's twice as big as it.
When he's good.
Yeah. What other ridiculous things
He's
are
allowed
canonized?
human contact once every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically that I'm just like the house dog, but dogs are more loved and respected.
The dog is above you. Yeah.
Yeah. And that I'm being,
We're trying to make you better.
yeah, they forced me to do push-ups.
Yeah.
Again,
He's weak. He's physically weak.
physically weak. I managed to do four push-ups in under 4 minutes, so that was something. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun playing someone who is the complete opposite of Tig.
Yeah.
And just leaning into just saying yes and going with whatever random bullshit that was
That's the
going
lesson
on.
I learned with Caspian.
Yeah.
It was like, just be chill, go with the flow, and the best shit will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorite moments was when we were in the marches. And I think
That was so fucking
for a couple
funny.
of reasons. One, I got to play. So I'm playing the Seneschal for the moment until more people join Sol Renee and maybe someone else wants to be the Seneschal. But I'm the stand-in one for the moment. And so we were there in the marches, and there was just a trader going along, and I got to play that proper yo game of like, someone's selling brownies, I'm going to buy brownies for my lords.
Yeah.
They didn't have to handle anything.
We were sitting there, and just brownies were presented to us, and we were like, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is the kind of game I want to do. I don't like the idea of like the super subservient yo that's like expected to wait on people but it's my job as a yo to do that. So like, as long as I'm doing it and it's not like a bossy, because I think that becomes very blurred on an OC
Like, I would
bleed
never
level.
be like, go get
clean
me
that up.
cake, go clean that up, icy. Because OC, that's shitty.
Right.
Right? But if you are wanting that game and you are presenting that way, then yeah, I'll never be like, go do it. But like, it's a really fun game that you are going and doing it.
And that's the kind of thing that I want to be able to do with him, which is really, really fun. And again, completely different play style. I'm not playing, he's not a martial character, he's not going to take the field. I don't think, he might take the field in the future, but I have no combat skills, I'm not battle mage, I'm pure summer ritual. I got to do a few summer rituals as well, which was great.
I think my favorite was in the middle of the trial, the unbinding. I was getting some magic item or something, and I was like, sorry, a bit of my chair just came off. I was like, no, there's already something bound in that slot. I was like, Bernell, unbind this, will you? And you were just like, okay. By the fire of
Yeah, just
I can't remember what she said. It was like, by someone's fire, it is unbound!
yeah, just like really over the top. I basically,
like, there you go.
I'm playing him as like, as soon as summer magic begins touching him, he's like, it explodes in like power effectively. It's like all of this energy, he doesn't know what to do with it when he's channels summer magic. So it get really loud and animated. So I've been doing that then when I do rituals, because it's like, has to be done over the course of 2 minutes, right? So I can't do that full for 2 minutes. That's kind of, it becomes too much. So I've just been doing that, like, I just get consistently more and more and more intense and loud and like full on as the 2 minutes goes on for a ritual, and that's been really, really fun to play with. I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I got to do a good few rituals on people kind of throughout the weekend, which is really cool, which I like doing. So yeah, hit me up if you want some summer rituals on you. I will do that. And then what other kind of...
Don't respect him when you ask, though.
Yeah, don't. I would hate that. And then I joined a Summer Coven at the very last moment of the game, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting some Coven game in. That's going to be really, really fun and interesting, I think. I've got ambitions to start a Coven within Sol Rene.
Yeah.
So on an OC perspective, I'm interested to see how these guys do it, and I actually had the Coven game works and work from that. And I've kind of said that OC to the person in charge as well, so that it's, you know, it's all above board and all good. And then IC, then I can justify that to be like, okay, well, Bernie's gone and learned how that works, so he can come back.
He's back
and
from
do it.
Sigma school.
Yeah. And then I think that's pretty much it in terms of like what Bernie did as you know, Bernie specific things. There's just a lot of like me finding who he was in the moment and just doing silly things. Like in the middle of the trial, I like flashed Perrin my ankles and like winked at him for like no reason and like caused him to nearly break out laughing in the middle of the trial. And I was gonna do like fun things, as I said, but yeah. Oh, sorry. And then the other thing in the marches,
the best. This is my favorite.
Yes, was that Bruni had his first bit of alcohol, achieved liftoff, and then instantly was like, I think I'm going to march. And just like started getting real confident about things.
And then
the two of you are like, what?
God, he grew a spine real quick. Like no sooner had it dropped past his lips than he grew a spine. But we were like yelling at the vendor, being like, look what you've done. And then obviously all the marchers like, yeah, march. And I was like, I think I'm gonna do it. And then I found out that the marchers lost Brock's toll. I was like, oh no, I don't want to be a part of the losers. So I wanted to stay with Dawn because of that. Oh, very good.
Right. And then one last thing. One last thing was when we were at Courgette's wedding, and I'll let you talk about Courgette's wedding.
Oh yeah. Tambourine.
We're all given tambourines, and you know, everyone else. I of course wouldn't dare to take one. That'd be too exciting for little Bernie. But I saw everyone else having fun. I was like, can I have a go? And I think you were like, yes, but you can only do it once.
You can only shake it once. Yeah.
And so I took it, and I was literally like, I moved it probably that much, and you hear like a ding. And I was like, oh, thank you. And to the back.
You have to be eased into these things.
Yeah. It's just, it would be too much excitement. I couldn't handle it.
But that is a good segue for the 4 things I want to talk about very quickly.
Yes.
First, Courgette. No sneakies for the next video. We went to the wedding. We were very well received. We met Courgette at the Dragonflies. And we're part of like the procession to the wedding. So that was really good. Along the way, Imberic was like, this needs music. And we passed some bards. And I was like, this woman is going to her wedding. And they were like, oh yes. And like all the bards
that was great,
behind.
Yeah.
The wedding itself was fantastic. I got given loads of gifts.
You're the reason that wedding could happen.
True, yeah.
You know?
I got Cian, I'm butchering this, Cian Thistleseeker's Sweet Thorn Wine, vintage bottling. Only 10 of these. I got the 10th one. Yeah, so that was great. I got 2 courgettes, one that was smiling, or courgettes, I should say. The courgette gave me 2 courgettes. I got a crocheted one that was smiling, and then just actually a fucking whopper courgette.
It was a real big courgette.
Yeah, and then
I had to carry it around with me, so I knew how big it was.
I also got given / definitely assumed and took a really cool board game that we'll highlight in a future idea I have for a Fake Swords video where we play some of the board games of Empire.
That'd be really fun.
It's very, very cool, but the thing itself is also a guide to all the Imperial positions and how they interact and stuff. It's fucking phenomenal. You actually have that in your tube at the moment. So
yes.
please be careful with that.
It's still in the tube.
Good. Yeah, so the wedding, fantastic. Bit of a sing-song, and then we had to go to the next thing. Right off the back of Tig's thing, a really fun bit of game was Emberic started inquisiting the whole land.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah, I won't go too much into it, but like it was.
I think you went a little into it.
It was fun. Yeah,
it was a defining moment of that day. You know.
I think so. Yeah. Well, we had I had just finished reading the First Law, and one of the major viewpoint characters in that is an Inquisitor. So I was up for some fucking inquisitioning, you know? But like, I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it properly. So we got, like, I had Flint achieve a load of Liao. Are you checking the camera?
I'm actually gonna get a drink of water, but I'll check the camera too.
Okay.
You can continue.
Yeah, I suppose I could.
Yeah, now you know how it feels. Usually I'm always the one left behind. Now it's you.
This is wretched. I'm gonna start drinking.
I mean, there's a red bar on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so, yeah, I had Flint achieve a load of Liao. So we had a stack of like 40 Liao or so that we had purchased. And I had, I bogarted the lance tent. I just took it. And I was like, this is now an Inquisitorius. Only members of House Sol Rene or Earls of the Lance are to be in here for a little while we get this sorted. And I had done it out, like, I was very happy with how I'd done it out. I had like a little inkwell and a pen.
It was real,
sheet.
like, it was like framed like an episode or a scene from Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going
like,
for. Like.
You know, it was you sat at a desk with your book and your inkwell, accepting people in, inviting them to be Inquisition.
And we had like guards on either side in case we found something. And then
Yeah.
I had...
you had like witnesses and overseers and
I
stuff.
made sure I had an overseer of another priest who inquisited me to begin with. And then I had... oh, he's returned. And then I had any Earl from the Lance who... Well, one was dead and there was only one left. So Molly was there. And I'd invite people in and I'd be like, hello, I hope this is just a waste of time. This is simple formality. And I'd give the spiel about how, like, in our experience in the Barrens, heresy spreads quietly and fast. So basically I was like, I just want to inquisit the entire Lance to make sure that there's no more heresy. And I had a stack of Liao, this thick, sat next to the anvil and the hammer. And then on this side I had a bowl of sweeties. So I'd come in and I'd give people a choice. I'd be like, so the choice is, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Depending on your answer to these 3 questions, I may or may not choose to insight you. However, if you don't want to do this, I can just insight you now and we'll be done with it. And people kind of like, it was kind of half and half. Because I had Bernell was there taking notes.
Yeah.
Because it was like a House Sol Rene, and I was like, this isn't just House Sol Rene, this is done on behalf of the Lance and at request of the Lance, XYZ. And then we went in and we went through the whole Lance, and there were some great moments, like beat to beat in it, like some standouts where there was some open hostility towards me,
which is great.
which was very fun. Who was it that was openly hostile?
Morgan.
Morgan, yeah.
Because
was
Morgan...
like, really fucking pissed. And we can't say why, because that's still active game.
Yeah.
But like, he was just like, this
But
is
that was
fucking,
great.
I
loved...
fucking ridiculous, openly hostile. And I was like, well, you know what? It's happening anyway, because this is your Earl. That was kind of fun.
Percival obviously did this quasi power play, being like, I don't like that Sol Rene are taking charge of this, and got us out of the tent, so it was just his Earl and stuff there, which is cool.
Yeah, I think I handled that one quite well as well.
Yeah.
I was like, of course.
Yeah.
And Flint was like, are you sure, my lord? And I was like, yes. Which is very funny, because I know I did a level 1 insight on him, and I know if I had gone above level 1, I would have found some shit, like. But yeah, that was great. There was 1 or 2 people just took the insight right off the bat. I think Earl Perrin was great.
Yeah.
He just comes in, right, insight me. Yep, done.
Yeah.
I was like, perfect. By the end of it, we had gone through like 20 odd stacks of
We
Liao.
were doing it for like close to 2 hours or so, I would say,
Yeah,
you
2,
know?
3, like,
yeah. Like it was a big chunk of the day.
My favorite moment was another one of the Bastion Yos.
Oh, yeah.
I explained
good.
everything to him, right? And I was like, so this is how it's going to work. And if somebody chose to Inquisit, I'd give them a brief, or to Insight, I'd give them a brief OC explanation of how Insight works, right?
Yeah, because it's not something you come across very often,
Yeah.
you know?
And I was like, I basically see any curses, dedications, XYZ on your soul, and you would just tell me what I see OC. I keep saying OT. And I'll explain that in another video why I'm saying OT instead of OC, so look out for that. But yeah, did the whole thing. I was like, do you want me to ask the questions or would you like to go for the insight? And I asked the first question. He was like, ask the question, sure. And I was like, okay. And I asked the question. The questions were like, tell me about your lead. Tell me about your experiences with Sweetglade Massacre.
Yeah.
Tell me about your relationship with Earl Tig. Has Earl Tig ever asked anything of you? And then depending on that, there was a fourth question.
Which was do you know of any heresy within the camp?
That has taken root inside the camp. And I asked the first question, he's like, let's just do the insight, shall we? But I was like, okay, grand. I now peer past your physical. I had a little, oh, that's another thing. I had a little cup.
Yeah.
Like we got a tiny little illustrious Sol Rene cup that I would put the Liao into and offer it to them. And I was like, you drink a bit, I drink a bit. And now I look past your physical form and I see your eternal soul. What do I see? XYZ, a bit of a spiel. But specifically with him, I phrased it a little different because I wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah,
right? And I was like, the conversation went like this. I now peer past your physical form and look onto your soul. Do I see a virtuous soul? And he goes, no. Everyone in the tent was just like, what?
And then he was like, oh, sorry,
fuck, yes.
Because like the way it was just whatever way you phrase it,
The implication was, do I see anything?
Yeah.
But I had phrased it like, do I see a virtuous soul? And he was just like,
he's like, no.
and like, Flint and me for the hammer.
Oh,
fucking gas. But they were fun.
Yeah,
and
that was
there was
great.
like, it was good lance game as well. Where everyone was like, why the fuck is Sol Rene doing this? So like, it was like, this isn't Sol Rene. This is Earl Carleone, and we're acting on her behalf kind of thing, like, you know? So that was great. There were two more things I wanted to talk about.
we need to talk, unless you can remember yours, we need to talk about the trial and like the kind of like Dorian fallout a little bit.
Oh yeah, you can talk about that then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what are we at? Yeah, we're almost at an hour now. So
This will be pretty quick because again, this is kind of just on the stuff we saw rather than stuff we did.
Yeah.
But it was like kind of a hot, obviously because I was very invested in it.
Yeah.
But it was very, very funny that Dorian basically, went report himself to the militia, who were like, all right, yeah, that's bad. Come get, you're on trial tomorrow morning, and he's like, great job, see you then. So reported to the trial. So we all went to the trial in the morning, which was pretty buttoned up and tight. He got declared, he was declared guilty, which was fine. The Earl Fools did their clemency defense, which is very efficient to the point. And the magistrate was basically like, right, yeah, look, you're guilty of murder. However, you did it because of loyalty and vigilance. Fine. Basically, a slap on the wrist, was given a 5-throne fine.
Which the militia offered to pay.
Which then he went back to pay, was a few crowns short, and the militia were like, we can cover it. And it's like, what he's doing?
Because they really liked that he killed you.
Yeah. And then on the back of that, after the what's the judgment? The verdict had been given.
Ambition.
Ambition, is that's the name? Yeah. Ambition of the House of Fools stood up, had been smoking this pipe of Liao for a while. Like, what a great character! I love him so much, and was basically like, because in the verdict, the magistrate was basically like, "Oh, this is going to be something that weighs on your soul." So that's like almost punishment enough. Was basically their
you killed your friend.
line.
You got to live with having killed your friend.
Yeah. And so then Ambition was like, "Yeah, so I testimony you, virtuous murderer." It's just like, oh my god. Which is a real rough testimony to have, but yeah, that was
just
fun.
A fucking state-sanctioned hitman now.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the only other real kind of like big thing for me that I think I want to talk about, because it's also been a little while, so I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah, it has. Sorry, at time of recording, like this was ages ago.
Yeah, and we've been very busy and stuff since. But like, that's. I'm just double checking. Big shout out, two shout outs. One to our friend Apollo. It was their first time at Empire LARP.
Yeah, it was what a first time. They walk into our camp and we're just butchering you in the street. Like,
yeah. Got to do a ritual on them as well, on their character Solomon, so that was really fun. And then shout out to Silgor, who we hung out
that's
with.
that's one of the things I'm gonna
Cool,
talk
then
about.
I'll hand that over to you.
I'm trying to remember the fourth thing. Give me a second. I was off camera to think about this. So yeah, back in the room. So we weren't battling this event. We both said not really pushed on battling at all. And usually we give 110% for both battles. So I was like, there's so much going on, like emotionally, and then with the Inquisitions and stuff, this event, I'm tired and I'm not pushed on doing the battle.
Yeah.
But then before the battle,
like Saturday night. Yeah.
Percival came up to me and he was like, "You gotta come on this one. You gotta come on this one." And I'm like, "I'm not battling. I'm not," like, and he's like, "No." And then he explained that it's like the most priest-centric battle to ever fucking happen.
Yeah.
With like tortured spirits and undead and exorcisms being needed and curses being thrown around. And I was like, "Oh fuck, I rolled up a paladin. Like, how could I not do
this is like, this is your jam here."
So then the morning of the battle rocks around and the Lance is just not feeling it in general. I think. Like, there was no cheering, the girding was slow, nobody was really doing anything, and I was like, this is kind of what I'm meant to do, is rally this. Yeah. And Percival came up and he's like, "Hey, can we trouble you for a speech before the gate? Because we're not here for this one, like, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool, no worries, I'll come up with something." And I was like, fuck. And Milton and I were going to have to go away from the Lance as well, because it was exorcism heavy battle, but the guys were at exorcism level 3 and I could only do exorcism level 2. So I was like, basically Milton was going to act as my bodyguard while I went out and fought the undead, the tortured spirits, whatever the fuck they're called. And it was like, oh, we're not even getting to fight with the Lance here. We're definitely going to die. And you're like, just play it safe. Just play it fucking safe. And then we're marching up, and a real somber march. The musician was hungover. Like, Lugaru was nowhere to be seen. We were like, I think Milton and I had tried to get a sing-song going at the back of the column, but all we could come up with was Health of the Company, which is about like, enjoy this moment because we're all gonna die and never see each other again. And we were like, this is not the song. And then we got to kind of the corner in the Brass Coast, and Lady Anira is there. And I was like, I gotta give a speech now, XYZ. I'm gonna have to go out, fight this battle. Like, I'm not feeling it, XYZ. And they're like, take this. And they hand me the fucking fang of Adelmar the Lion, which is like OC and IC. Like, Emberic nerds the fuck out about this thing. He got shown it once, and he's like probably got pictures of it in his diary and shit. And it's like, oh shit, an actual relic of the Empire. And he's like, given it for the battle. And its effect in game is it raises the level you can exercise by 1. So suddenly, like one generous gesture, everything just came in fucking line. It's like, we don't have to move away from the Lance. We can solo exercise these guys now. I've got a fucking rallying point to give my speech around. Everything is fucking coming up Millhouse. And then I gave like off the cuff, and usually I have my speeches written down, but like this event, I was just like, fuck it, we're just gonna wing them. And they were going really well. Like, I gave a really good speech over your body to get everyone to fuck off.
Yeah, that was really good.
And then,
actually, that reminds me of one thing I want to speak about too, but go on.
Yeah. But
This is gonna be a long one. Oh,
yeah. What are we at?
we're probably like an hour now.
We're well over an hour, I think.
Hour and 6.
Yeah. So I go up and I was like, I gotta meet them where they are and bring them up. Because
Yeah.
I was low. So like my speech is like, Emerald Lance, I know you're tired. I'm tired too. And I started there, and then I just like started hacking on what's better about this and what's better. And then I ended with the fang, and I was holding it up and I was like, we charge under this and all this shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know?
That was great
And
to
everyone
watch,
was
yeah.
like, fucking yeah! And then like almost as soon as I ended the speech, the column started moving and we were like, fuck, in it. And the battle was fucking like, it had all the ingredients of the Sweet Glades, but we won.
Yeah.
Like it was really fucking intense. Shout out to the Wretched Undead. They were great because they came in, they were giving curses off fucking bows and shit.
Yeah, wild.
And then it's tortured spirits. Isn't
Tortured
it?
Souls.
Tortured souls, but they were like in full clank blocks.
Yeah.
So like we'd have a line, and then just these fucking guys would come out like fucking full undead in plate armor. And again, there's another video where that would become more relevant. And like fighting them was so fucking cool. But I remember specifically like I must have gone through a further 30 liao in that battle because we stacked me up with about 60 beforehand. Somebody in Dawn was giving it out. I got a load off House Serenus, and then I had some from Poppy, and I had my own reserves, and I went through fucking most of it. But there was times in the battle where I'd just be standing there like rip after having used about 9 in quick succession. Yeah, like there was a bit where the line fight was there, and Percival comes up and he's like, I don't mean to bother you, but if you do have a minute, I am seeing in black and white. I'm like, you fuck! Loads of really fucking cool exorcism role play where like I'd be like, your soul is entwined, like you can feel it wrapping around your soul, but not on my watch. I will share my virtue with you, and like slamming the hammer into their chest and like fully like, you know when Thor jumpstarts Iron Man's heart?
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe
Nice.
with Proclamation.
That's fun.
But yeah, no, fucking, like it was great. There was a great moment where the line was fighting over here and the tortured souls came out of a bush and Milton, me and like Tree Navar were just like, fuck this. And just jumped in and just fucking milled them. And like, it was really fucking, it was just like top tier paladin moment where like block a thing, cleave a leg, knock him to the ground, and I have my hammer on him and I'm like, you wretched thing, XYZ, blah, 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 giving it sucks, and it goes, in the name of the Empire, I execute, or not execute, whatever, exercise, boom. It wasn't even boom. What I was doing for the exorcism was putting it on them and pulling it away on the shout, like drawing the shit out of them.
Yeah, cool.
Which was fucking cool. And the skirmish team were all over it because they'd be like this when they're down, as in, like, this is the symbol. Oh, if you see the skirmish team doing this, this means whatever spell or shit you're doing, you need to do it at 3rd level. Which I was like, so I got to the point where I was like, 3rd level exercise. And then they were like, but it's just fucking great battle all around. Really, really sterling from everyone, and so ropey. But what I have to say is the Dawnish command were fucking on it, because everyone was like, it's Sweet Glades again. You could hear it left, right, and center. This is feeling like Sweet Glades. I said it a few times, you know? And fucking, there was a point where like, I'm looking over there, and like, the line is getting fucking bet. And I'm looking over there, and the line is getting fucking bet. And I go up to Percival, and I'm like, this is really starting to look very ropey. I think we should pull back. And he was like, nope, got it from the field commander. What was the name? We'll say Lord Castellan. It wasn't, but whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, Lord Castellan will reinforce that line in 15 seconds. And 15 seconds later, House Castellan rocks up, and I'm like, fuck me, they've got this on lock. And it's the first time in LARP that I've really felt like there was a military structure there that was not fucking around and knew what it was doing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is fucking
I feel
great.
like we kind of had that at the very, very, very start.
Yeah, big time.
And then it kind of dipped.
But
and
no,
then
even outside our lance, Dawn just
Yes.
had their shit locked in. Like, all the lance commanders knew who was where, what reinforcements were coming here. And like, there was a bit where we were getting wrecked, and Percival was like, right, cycle out. And we cycled out, and someone was just there to take it. There was a great moment where Navar was getting fucked. And I think somebody even mentioned this in the Facebook, but they were like, reinforce, someone on our end was like, reinforce that line, and it was just like a make way for dawn, and like all the fucking shields up to the line, and we all just did that like boom thing, and it was like, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss that part of the game for sure. I think.
But you just go in as a non-con.
And I will, and I'm going to go in as a healer, but like, it is something very satisfying about that kind of just like being a tank on the battlefield is cool.
Because I didn't have that
you know?
for so long.
Yeah, true,
you know? But Imberic is now as tanked as I've ever been.
Yeah.
He's got like the full chain, he's got like 8 hit points.
And even just having a shield makes you feel that way. And you never really fought with a shield.
I fought with a shield once.
Yeah.
Before this.
So yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Okay, what are other topics from you?
So just big shout out to Silgor at this event. We spent more time with Silgor, and if you're watching this, hopefully I will have replied to that message by the time this is edited. So yeah. But yeah, just like between meeting him in the marches, he gave me a notebook that's like fucking class.
Oh yeah.
Because last time I gave him a map, so it was like, oh, that's cool. He helped you guys achieve liftoff.
Yeah.
And then we were helping him find Thoria, which was great. And that led to one of my favorite moments from the event. And there's 2 things here, really. And they both happen in the Dragonfly cartel. So again, if you want good trade or good times, get yourself into the Dragonfly cartel in the Brass Coast. Unbelievable. They have everything you need and then some. And what I needed...
I commissioned a magic item from them.
You did, yes. What I needed was a good time. And I got one. We went around there in the evening. It was Poppy, Joey, Molly, and myself.
Yeah.
And when we got there, they were like, oh yeah, Silgor is going to be playing in a minute. Because that's kind of why I went, because I knew Silgor was going to play. And like Silgor showed up with the big old boys and just put on like this private gig that was like unbelievable. And I'm sitting there, like the Dragonflies had their, what's the word for it? When you go into a place in the Brass Coast, they give you a drink, and everyone has its own drink.
Yeah, they're the freeborn limoncello. Yeah. I know what you're talking about anyway.
But mine was the Dirty Physic is the name of their one anyway, or something like that. But I had that in my hand, and he's there and he's singing whatever one is when the nobles pine for the Dawnish wine, they long for the Bregisland brew.
Yeah, Bregisland brew.
There was a process. But like being the Dawnish, every time he's like, the nobles pine for the Dawnish wine, I'd be like, oi! But like sitting there, like Siski was stood next to me, everyone was like left and right, drinks, and it was just like, this is fucking class. It was just a really cool way. I think we got 4 songs out of him.
Nice.
Just top tier. Like, it was so good. And the vibes were just immaculate there then, so we stayed there, and afterwards, I remember Joey had said, I really want to do the drug game. Like, I want to be under the roleplay effect of a drug, so I was like, I can make this happen. So I went out back, and Avicenna was there, and I was like, you in the alleyway, do you sell drugs? And he was like, well, yes. So... It turned out that he didn't have drugs. He was going to do all these mad rituals, and I was like, no, it's too involved.
Yeah.
But then it ended up like I can't remember his name. Because I can't remember names. But we procured drugs anyway. There was a big old bag of drugs, a lucky dip, and I was like, brother, come here. And someone was like, oh, you're Bernell's brother, and I was like, never.
That was so fun. Oh, yeah, because a whole running theme of it had been that Bernell had just been going around introducing himself as Flinton and Berg's brother, even though we're not related.
So
and
we
I'd
were
constantly be like, oh,
not
brothers.
our brother, not our brother.
But there's a couple of times where they broke in the middle of it, and I'd be like, brother, and they'd be like, yes, Bernell, damn it.
Fuck me, not our brother. But anyway, I was like, brother, come out here. Big old bag of drugs, take your pick. And he was like, what? No way. I was like, just go. So they all, there's my family back from holiday. They all got off their face on this like all-knowing drug kind of thing. But Avicenna also did a ritual, and it was the horse ritual, which was fucking class, and it was dramaturgy. So we all had to play a character. So like I was riding a princely horse, and Flint was on a fiery horse. It was really fucking cool. But we did it, and then we all got the horse dream, which is like you're given a vision, and like it will amount to something at E4, but we don't know what it was yet. And my vision was fucking metal. I won't say what the visions were, because I think it's like you're not meant to share it with anyone.
And did PD give you the visions?
Yeah, you have to go into the tent and you're given a vision to read, which is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, the four of us did that. But the way the ritual worked out was like, we were having like horse races and jousting tournaments and like which horse could jump the best, and then which horse was strongest ended up being a press-up competition between me and Joey. Like, but that was just fucking so much fun. Avicenna had quoted me like a reasonable amount, but then when it got down to the thing, ended up necking 2 potions, and the price is like 8 times more than what was quoted. So we'll have to discuss that. Because I don't have that money. But yeah, no, really, really fucking fun roleplay on that, and I can't wait to see what happens. I have a pipe dream, and if PD, if you're watching this, it's not too late to make it happen. But my pipe dream is that, because this is the last time on the site, and they're giving people a horse dream, that we're all going to go somewhere and they're going to march out a horse.
That would be unreal.
Yeah, because all the horses, and I think this is public knowledge, but all the horses in all divisions are making their way towards a palace.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think we're going to go through the gate to a palace and there's going to be a horse.
That's fun.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been spoiled with horses in LARPs, and again, that's another video. But yeah. Have you got anything else for this one?
Yeah, I think one last thing, just on the Tigefall aspect, is that I thought it was really, really cool that at the end,
my new niece.
When I was dead.
Everybody say hi, Nora.
Hi.
Hi, Nora. The internet's saying hi to Nora. Hi, internet.
Yeah, so after I'd been mercilessly executed by someone I thought was a friend and a previous house member, a blanket was placed over me.
Yeah, and that was actually very grim and realistic, that there was just a corpse under a blanket. We could just see a bloody hand.
Yeah.
I think I even went over and it was too real looking, so I put the blanket over it.
But a few people came then over and like whispered things to my corpse. I won't say what they were, but then obviously after this, because as I said at the start, this was a really charged, emotionally charged like event.
Yeah.
Like just that small portion of it, right? And so kind of after that all happened, first shout out to Cadigan/Alex for being able to like explain what the Glade Warden funeral rites and stuff were.
So out of pocket and accurate. And I was like,
yeah. Well, I had previously, like,
it was just great.
So he did his job of, like, actually, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Here's me, like, I was lying there being like, that's cool that, like, a bit of, like, Glade Warden legacy and culture has, like, you know,
permeated enough and it came back in.
Yeah. But then, just the last thing. So, obviously, we all kind of then stepped a bit OC afterwards, because we all just needed to decompress, right?
Yeah.
And before we could get a chance to really go properly out to the OC area and get some food and kind of, you know, come down. The militia had obviously been like informed, and so someone was walking.
Someone ran into.
I think it was Percival. I was like,
"Yeah, the body is over here." Yeah, the body.
Body. I was like looking at me. I was like, oh, "Shit!" I'm sprinting across to where the blanket was, diving under it, being like, yes, it's me, I'm dead. But it was just very funny.
Yeah.
Because I think, I'm pretty sure it was Percival, and he has to be like, okay, you're going to need to suspend your disbelief here for a second, because we're all a bit OC. But, yeah. And then, yeah, like, kind of nothing happened really on the Friday night for me after that, so, yeah, because it was just me coming down from that whole thing, which is good. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it all.
Yeah.
That was a chunky one.
It was.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I have the YouTuber shit to talk to you about. Like, subscribe, all that good things. Leave comments. That'd be fantastic. I will also say, if you are enjoying this and you would like to support the show more, obviously you know that we have Hearthfiretales, which is our Dungeons and Dragons and TTRPG actual play stuff. I don't know what this is.
I was just doing a spell on them so they'll do what you say.
Yes, okay. Yeah. So Jim's casting suggestion on you. It's a DC 17 wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
And we have a Patreon for that, but we're trying to merge our stuff together. We've talked about this a little bit before in the last ones, but currently, as of still ongoing on our Patreon, if you join, you will get some fake swords merch, including stickers and a t-shirt. So go check that out, and we ideally will start then releasing these where time and editing and stuff like that allows, releasing these on our Patreon ahead of time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, so you'll get exclusive access to these videos, as well as getting all of our other Hearthfire stuff.
Yeah.
So we also like some of the things we've put up on our Patreon recently too have been us playing Wheels versus Doors, which is fun.
Yeah,
which is really, really fun. We've also played another thing called Radical Ratings with Ryan. So like things that you don't need to know anything about Dungeons & Dragons or be interested in. It's just standalone content. So we have got other stuff on there too. So you can go check that out.
Looking at doing, so we've got some fun plans. I won't say what they are, but
yeah. So
we have some big plans and we have some miniature plans.
Fuck, that was good, Jim. That was good. So just keep an eye. Join our Discord. It's probably the best. You'll kind of see everything there first, where we'll be talking about things. But we'd really appreciate any of your support. And look, money aside, we don't expect any monetary support.
Yeah.
Again, like, share, subscribe, comment. All that stuff is as good as gold.
Costs you fucking nothing.
Yeah, actually, cop yourself on. Fucking click that like button, all right? Leave a comment. It's the least we could do. We just talked for 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Shower pricks.
And you little shower prick, little smarmy bollockses, couldn't even write a positive. You couldn't even write a positive comment underneath a video that you enjoy.